Hi, my name's Greg and welcome to Electric Car Australia, the Aussie EV YouTube channel for those wanting to learn a little bit more about electric vehicles and sustainable living technologies. So in today's video, I'm going to do something I don't very often do. It's a product unboxing and a first time setup. Now I've been looking for a product that adds wireless CarPlay and Android Auto capability to the MGZSEV for quite a while. And this fixes the annoying problem if you've got a car like mine where you need to be jumping in and plugging in your phone all the time to access apps and streaming services. So what this little device does is basically adds the functionality and streaming of an iPad or an Android tablet to your car's infotainment system, which I think's very handy. So let's check it out. So here it is. It's the one car stereo CarPlay AI Box HE. Now the HE model is the HDMI output edition, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later and what that means. But look, as I mentioned, I've been waiting a while for one of these, and I've marked this video as a paid sponsorship as these guys did kindly provide me this one to review. However, they didn't pay anything for the video and they don't have any control over what I say or do with the device. So my genuine thoughts on the products, as always, will be in this video, but I do thank the guys for sending me this one. Now, of course, this little device can be used in any car, not just an EV, but it must have wired CarPlay head unit. So the head unit in the MGZSEV, this is a first gen car. It's quite crude and rudimentary. It's a bit glitchy. It doesn't have that quicker feel, but it is wired. So if you want to connect your phone, you do need to use a wire. So this little device here will only work with infotainment systems that are wired. Now before we get into it, a couple of things to note for Apple users. This gives you wireless CarPlay and it supports iPhones with iOS 10 and above. So for Android users, it gives you wireless Android Auto with a minimum of the Android 10 version. So let's have a look at the box. It comes in a nice sturdy little box. It looks very stylish. It did have a plastic wrap on it, which I've pulled off. So I'll have a quick look at the end here. So it's a model AI box Wi-Fi. It has 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig of ROM. It's got the Android version 10 operating system on the device. It uses 5 volt input, which is your USB connection, and consumes 1 amp. Temperature range -20 to +70, so in the Australian extremes we should be right, and the device is made in China. Now one thing that's not mentioned there is it does come with a 12-month warranty. That information's on the website, and I'll include the link to the website in the show notes. Okay, so let's open the box and see what's in it. So as I mentioned, nice little box, pops off, looks like a little mini shoebox. We've got some instructions in there, so let's have a quick look at those. Yep, look quite good. We've got some English instructions there and multiple other languages. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Now I haven't plugged this in. This is a genuine first time, so we'll see if we can get it to work without the instructions. Nice little device there, and in the box we've got 2 cables there. So we've got a USB-A to a USB-C and USB-C to USB-C. So we'll put those aside for now. So here it is. Looks quite good. It's got a nice little bit of weight to it. As I mentioned, this has a processor inside it, like a iPad or a Android tablet. So a wood grain finish. It is plastic, sturdy plastic, but a nice wood grain finish. Lots of air vents in it there. So just turning it around, we've got our HDMI connection. Now I mentioned before that we'd talk about that. That is actually so you can add additional screens for back seat passengers. So we won't be using those in the ZS because we don't have any screens, but if you had screens at the back headrests, you could plug in there and have extra outputs. That's your USB-A output. We flick around the other one. That's the USB-C, and that's where we will plug it in. That's an input one, so we'll plug that in shortly. And that's pretty much it. Looks good. So in the ZSEV, we need to use the USB-A connection and the USB-C. So what we'll do is we'll plug that in there. Okay, nice tight fit. MG owners will know that the connection is down here under the console, so I won't move the camera, but what I'm going to do is plug that in. When I get it, there we go. Okay, we'll see if we've got some lights here. I can see some lights. I can see some lights inside. Okay, we've got that plugged in, and apologies, it's sort of upside down. It's just the way it fits. So let's turn this on.
Audio is a cost.
Now, I don't know whether it's doing anything. Here we go. Android, so it's booting up. Now keep in mind this will take a little bit longer the first time you plug it in, so I haven't plugged this in before, so that's how long it takes. Okay, so this is the menu for the device. Okay, so it seemed to have booted up and then the menu disappeared, so we'll go agree and don't prompt again. So just shut the car down. I didn't think it was getting on the Wi-Fi, so let's hit that. So it is taking a little while. Okay, here we go. Now we're into the main menu. So that was interesting, it's flipped over. So the system, I believe, needs to communicate with your infotainment system, and it determines the size of the screen, resolution and all that sort of stuff. So it appears that it's done that. It's actually flipped the screen back over from when it originally done it. So let's have a look what's in here. So as I mentioned, the screen in the MG is not that responsive, so we won't hold that against the actual system, but it looks quite good. We've obviously got push to talk there for Google. This one's our Wi-Fi, so we'll have a look at connecting that shortly. That's our GPS signal. This is our home button, and if we press that, this little cube comes up and you can move that around depending on where you want it. So that's just your little home icon, and this one's back. So let's hook up the Wi-Fi. So let's go use Wi-Fi. We've turned it on, it's searching for networks. Okay, we've got the Wi-Fi in, so that's connected. Let's go back, see, double check, Wi-Fi, use Wi-Fi, it's connecting. Okay, it's in, we've got it on, that's all good. So it's interesting, it's got a little cross on it there. Okay, let's see if it's connected. Browser, so let's go into the browser and see. Welcome to Chrome, make Chrome better by sending assistance and crash reports. Actually, we'll untick that, we'll accept. Turn on sync your, no thanks. So I haven't added a Google account. Obviously you can do that, but we won't do that today. So YouTube, let's go into YouTube using the browser. No internet. Okay, so for some reason it's not connecting. Network not in range. Okay, so we don't have enough signals. So let's connect our phone. So obviously you can connect a phone or a home Wi-Fi. So we're just parked in the driveway here. So I thought I'll connect the home Wi-Fi, it'll be easier. That's not going to work. So we will turn on the hotspot on my phone and we'll give that a shot. Okay, so we've got the Wi-Fi connected. We couldn't get it connected to the home Wi-Fi. It was a little bit too weak a signal out here in the driveway, so I've got it connected to the phone, so that shows the Wi-Fi, it's connected, so all good. We come back to here, we've got the connected screen. So just quickly having a look at the main screen here. So we've got navigation, music, car auto, YouTube, exit, Netflix, Spotify, and an app list. If we scroll over, we've got Bluetooth, Bluetooth music, settings, browser, and clear tasks. So if we go back to here, let's have a quick look in the app one. So these will be Android apps for our car. Obviously we use Android phones, but if you've got the iPhone or the Apple products, you'll have the Apple iStore, so you can load those on. You can go into the App Store, so pretty much anything there you can load up on the apps that you want to put on here. We've got Google Maps, etc. And we've also got VLC player, and we'll talk about that a little bit more shortly. The GPS one here, you'll notice it's got full signal. Now you don't need to be connected to the internet via your phone or home Wi-Fi for that, so that is a pure GPS signal, so works online and offline. Now one other thing to mention is too that you can download and watch movies offline, but it does only have a 64 gigabyte of memory, so that's probably not that much, and you need to leave some space for the operating system. You can use a USB stick or an external drive, and you can plug that into the USB-A port there, but there's a 128 gigabyte limit to that as well, and I'll just quickly show you how you could watch that. So you go into the app menu there, scroll down, and you use the VLC player. So that's if you were watching a movie that you already had downloaded, you'd use that VLC player. So let's go back to the home screen. Pretty self-explanatory, won't go through those. That's your sort of first menus there, but I think the apps is probably the ones that most people will use. Now note this one here, we've got the Google Play Store, so that's the normal Play Store, but you've also got an APK Pure Lite App Store. So you can use that, and that is like lighter, smaller memory apps, I guess. So yeah, if you use that one, you might get a little bit better performance, but by all means you can use the Google App Store as well. So as I mentioned, I won't go through all these because they're pretty self-explanatory. Let's just click on YouTube and see. So we're straight into YouTube there, quite quick. So one thing I will mention on the responsiveness, I'm told that there is a slight delay. So from the sound and vision, if you download, as I mentioned, onto a stick and watch it, that is the quickest one, but I will be doing a separate video once we've got this up and running and been using it for a little while. I'll do a separate video and we'll check out what I think of it and the performance. But let's just try and see the speed. So look, that's pretty responsive. Obviously it's dictated by your Wi-Fi connection. So I've got a little bit of buffering there, I think. Okay, so there we go. We'll see how we go. So there we go.
And he does so. Leclerc down to 16.
So look, that's not too bad, getting that functionality onto the screen in the MGZS. Again, if we want to exit the screen, just touch that. Brings up our little box. We can exit that. We can continue to press back, or we can just exit back to that one. So that's it basically for the setup of the one car stereo CarPlay AI Box HE version. Now obviously we just tuck that in under there so it's out of the way. You leave that plugged in all the time, so every time you jump into your car, providing you've got your internet Bluetooth connection on, start your car and away you go. So to get out of the menu, if you totally want to get out of it, press exit, exit, and away we go. There we are. We're back to the normal MG screen. Well, that's it for the setup. It was really straightforward, pretty much plug and play. Didn't read the instructions. It took about 5 minutes to load in. You connect your Wi-Fi connection or your internet connection. There'll be a little bit of setup in the settings to actually use it. So as I mentioned, we'll do another video in a few weeks' time once we've used the product. We'll test it out, what works, what doesn't, and we'll see if it's worth the money it costs. And speaking of money, in early October 2023, when I filmed this, On the website it was $219 US, so that equates to about $345 Australian. Now this is the top of the range model. There is other cheaper models on the website, so as I mentioned, have a look in the show notes, click on those links there and check those out. There was a 25% off special going at the time that I filmed this, so that brings the price down to around $260, and that price includes postage. And you can pay with PayPal, so that's got buyer protection, so that gives you some comfort there with the product. And as I mentioned, it's got a 12-month warranty, and the delivery timeframes mentioned on the website are about 10 to 12 days shipping from Hong Kong, so that's not too bad. So as I mentioned, I've got some product links in the show notes. I do get a small commission if you did buy any of those links, and check out the website because they do have lots of other products for vehicles, mainly in the infotainment space, so different head units, that sort of stuff. There is a really cool Tesla dash screen. So the Teslas, as you'll know, have the center large center screen. This gives you a little binnacle in front of the driver. But as I said, this is a product that's going to add a lot of convenience to these cars. It's really annoying having this wired CarPlay. You've got to plug your phone in all the time to get any of that functionality. So I think this is a fantastic little device. You plug it in, you set it up, you leave it in your console, and you basically forget about it. So in closing, if you liked the video, please share it with your mates, or you know somebody that would like wireless CarPlay as well. By all means, share the video with them. If you could spare a couple of dollars, we'd really appreciate a one-off donation or a monthly sponsorship. Visit those supporter links in the show notes, and of course the links to the other products as well. So until next time, look after your friends and family, stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.